Do you want, if you could only have it one way or another, do you want to wipe out his coaching staff? Coordinators gone, wide receivers coach gone, all the guys you complain about, they're all gone. Gerard stays. Or do you want to leave those guys intact for year 2? And it's an all or nothing. All or nothing. You either wipe out the coordinators or you keep them. Gerard stays. Do you want him to keep his guys?
This is the this or that?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Keep everybody or fire everybody, again, outside of the coach.
Well, my opinion's always been, something's got to change, and I don't think it's going to be Mayo. So it would have to be the staff. I think Mayo's back.
Yeah, but I'm throwing a wrinkle into it, so you have a right to change your mind on that.
Okay, so that you could do it with the caveat, maybe something would change in the personnel department, but bring the whole staff back.
Now you're getting outside the argument.
Well,
the argument's really about coaching.
Okay.
It's about the coaching staff. Leave it intact for year 2 or dismantle everything except the head coach.
Too many of the same age.
Which is what I keep hearing, right? Give him the resources and support. And every time that comes up, I say, that's code for we're going to fire his coaches.
But you got to look at the results, and it's the repetitive same things, the same mistakes that are happening. So that does take it to coaching for me. And nobody's holding them accountable. I mean, we keep hearing the word accountability, and the players keep saying that. But something's got to change. Change has to happen.
I've been with you on the whole coaching staff, but if presented with that choice, I'm keeping everybody.
As am I. I am keeping everybody for year 2 because I don't think any of them are making it to year 3. And I've been saying that for a while. That was before I even said they got to do it now. They got to can them now. But I don't think anybody makes it to year 3. So why would you then bring in another offensive coordinator for Drake May in year 2 who's not there in year 3? So now he is going to be one of those guys that has 3 offensive coordinators in his first 3 years. What's the point of that?
Because if you do have 3 highfalutin coordinators, you're going to see that it's Drake May. They're going to want the gig. Like where a year ago they didn't want the gig and you had to go through the process of interviewing many who eventually went elsewhere and turned it down.
So you're saying that coordinator they hire
it's attractive
is going to be so good they're going to elevate him to head coach after a year? Is that a possibility?
I don't think you go into a year with the whole staff dead man walking. That's got disaster written all over it. Yeah, if that's the case, if that's the way you phrased it.
I mean,
you said you're making changes.
I just don't think any of them can make it to year 3. I don't think they'll be good enough to get to a year 3. I don't think Gerard Mayo's good enough to turn it around next year to get to a year 3. So I'd keep everybody here.
Yeah.
Oh, there goes the phone again.
Right.
Ding, ding,
Yeah,
ding, 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 ding.
Little fairy came.
I don't know who you're bringing in with the circumstances where Gerard Mayo's on the hot seat. He's throwing coordinators under the bus. He doesn't have a Rolodex like you talked about yesterday, Bertrand, of coaches that he knows that he can call, where you're bringing in and going, this is a monster upgrade over Alex Van Pelt, who already was our 11th, 12th, 13th choice. So now we're on 14, 15 down the line.
And I think it begs this other question. Is it a more attractive or less attractive job than it was a year ago? I understand the Drake May element, what Zoe just described. Hey, you've got Drake May now. That's attractive to a much better coordinator. The job isn't with this team under this head coach. You know what would make it an attractive job? A new head coach here in New England. A guy that has
that's your overall point.
Some real stability. Yeah. And then a coordinator would be like, well, this is great. He's not going anywhere for several years. I'm going to go there and work with Drake May and work under this head coach that I know is good at his job. And presumably has a relationship with already because that head coach would know guys around the league the way that Gerard Mayo doesn't. So if it's an either or, this or that, keep everybody or fire everybody on the staff outside of the head coach. Keep them all. Let them deal with their own mess.
Then that would be ownership tolerating the type of year with a 3-win team and saying, let's just keep it rolling.
Well, if they're bringing back Gerard Mayo, they're already tolerating that because they have a 3-win team right now and they're endorsing him by bringing him back again, and that's their problem.
I get it, but in my ideal world, I would select certain positions that aren't up to par, and then I think you make changes that way. So I do think change has to happen.
I want, if they're going to bring him back and do this thing again,
give him a chance with all his guys then.
You stick him with his guys and say, you guys figure this out, but also, by the way, when you get fired, we're making sweeping changes, and that next head coach will be picking all of his guys, and it won't be the coordinator that we hired in year 2 of Drake May. Right? That shouldn't be put onto it. How do you attract a head coach at that point? Hey, We're firing Gerard Mayo now, a year after we fired all his coordinators. All his coordinators still work here, and we want you to take them on. Well, that's not an attractive job either. No, thanks. I'm good.
Unless you're thinking as a coordinator, okay, this is a great opportunity for me. I could go there for a year. Look what Alex Van Pelt's done. He keeps making Drake May better. I can make him grow next year. And if they do pop the head guy, I'll be in line to potentially take over, like a McDaniels.
So this to me is a long way of saying you're only compounding your mistake in hiring Gerard Mayo by going through a bunch of half measures in this offseason. All or nothing. No half measures, said Walter White. No half measures. You've got to go and do this the way that it needs to be done. Or don't do it at all. Okay?
Yeah.
That's kind of the way it is. Because, look, you could just make a bigger mess. That's all you're going to do.
I don't see how they stand there and say, you know what, everything's great. It's kosher. Let's keep rolling.
And it was Mike Ehrmantraut who said no half measures.
It was Walter White.
Walter White was the main character in Breaking Bad.
No.
But it was Mike. Fun. It was Mike who said to him, no half measures.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you'd have a tough time with the start of that show. Getting through the first
season.
Really?
Tough. Yeah, very tough.
That's not good.
But it all makes sense later on.
What's that place?
All worth it.
What's the one in Minnesota? The lakes. I watched that. Ozarks.
That's the Ozarks are not in Minnesota.
Yep.
Are you thinking of Fargo?
No, he's thinking of Ozark. Yeah.
Oh, boy. Hey, if you like that clip, check out more videos from Zolak and Bertrand right here. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.